Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at production chemical. We'll take a look at the item master where we set up each individual part number. Some settings that you can set there. We'll also enter an order and submit it through to production. Take a look at the batch ticket and some things you can do there as well. So let's pull up one of our part numbers. See just a sample part here, chemical number 204. You can specify different unit groups, different ways you buy it, sell it, price it. This happens to all be per gallon. Special things here, you can do an individual pounds to gallons conversion for each part number, and it will track that. It'll track both units for you at all times. That, of course, is an expected conversion. We'll look at actuals when we do production. Department of Transportation note for hazardous materials. You can type in something that will automatically appear on the bill of lading or packing slip. And if we look at the bill of materials screen, we'll take a close look at this. You can see I have a standard one here set up, just a sample. Chemical 1, Chemical 2. We need 750 pounds of Chemical 1. 350 of Chemical 2. These would just be additional part numbers that we had in the system. And then we have some water here, 480 gallons. And you can see for this part, I have a conversion set up for this one that goes into pounds as well. Other things that you'll see here, if I edit this line, you can see I have a quantity here that I can change if the recipe or the bill of material changes. My bubble number or sequence number, so if there's a specific sequence that needs to be followed when the chemicals are added, you can specify that in the bill of material. And we have an actual tolerance level here for each part, for each input. That's a percentage, so if there's a plus or minus 1% that is tolerable for this particular bill of material, you can specify that here per part. So you can see I have a 1% tolerance. And that would be 1% of 750 pounds. Let's go ahead. So you can make that one for each one. You can see this one's also 1%. And on my water, I have a 2% tolerance. So whatever those different tolerances are for each recipe or bill of material, you can see that there. On the Outputs tab, you can see that this makes 480 gallons. Obviously, if I'm entering a different quantity, it will scale all of the inputs accordingly. So if I order, for instance, 960 gallons, it would double the amount of inputs that I need for all of this. If there's an alternate chemical that can be used or an alternate part that can be used, you can specify that on the Alternate Items tab. So you can see here I have one set up. So for Chemical 2, it's 350 pounds that's required. I can tell it that if I'm out of Chemical 2 or I wanted to use something else, I can use Chemical 3, which is twice as good or twice as strong as Chemical 2, and so I can specify the ratio that I need here. So I only need 175 pounds of Chemical 3. And you can do that for all of the different inputs if you had them, if there was an alternate that could be used. Close that. Let's go ahead and enter an order for this particular item, and we'll see it flow through to production. So I'll go to the sales order screen, start a new one, pick my customer. I can specify a load date. This is the date that we're going to load it up to ship. And the production due date will be dependent upon this date by default. I can manually change that later if I want to. Let's just set it to March 18th. You can obviously specify some other things here on the order header, the account manager, salesperson, freight terms, other things like that. Let's switch over to line items. I'm going to type in my item that I want. I can search by item code, I can search by a customer's part number, by description, by many different things to find the one I want. I'll tell it how many I'm ordering. I'll do 480. You have all of the pricing is set up in the system. You can do it by customer, by customer group, by item price group. So I can price things different ways here. And you'll get a gross margin percentage on every line plus for the whole order. So I'll just do one line item here, save that. It'll give me a order number automatically. I can then submit this to production directly from the sales order. If it's something that I also stock, it'll tell me what I have on hand. I don't have any on hand. I have a bunch, looks like, on order here. So I'm just going to produce all of it. I could split it up, pull some from stock, and make some, or I could pull all of it from stock. It'll tell me here what it thinks I should do. You notice that it's specifying the due date for the production work order or the batch ticket 1 day before. If I want that to be ahead of time or on the same day, I can just change it right here. And it goes directly to allow me to print my production work order, and we'll take a look at that. Standard form here gives me a batch ticket number, which is the order number with just a letter after it. Over on the right, I have the expected weight, the expected volume, which was the quantity that I entered, and my expected density. I'm only showing 2 decimal places here, but that can go up to 8 places, I believe, so as much accuracy as you need. I haven't actually made anything yet or assigned anything out of inventory, so my actuals are all 0, but those will show me the actuals when I actually produce it. And notice there's some things here. It's telling me the sequence number of the inputs. That's per the bill of material. Everything is in pounds. I have a quantity that's actually used and where it was pulled from, that the people in the shop could fill out. Down at the bottom, it's just giving me the actual production that's ordered, the part number, the description, and then a quantity. Let's close that and take a closer look at the production screen. So this is it. You'll notice that it has a reference for the order number. I can type some comments in here. Here's what was ordered. And it will tell me per the bill of material what's required. Anything in red means that it still needs to be assigned or I haven't assigned enough. And you notice we have some things that are lot controlled. They have a specific number that go with the inventory. And then on my water, it's just water, so I don't have a lot number that goes with it. It's very simple to assign things. Just double click. I can click the allocate button here. It'll tell me what's in stock. If I select it, it'll default to the quantity that was actually ordered. If that number was different, I can change it right here. So if we used 752 instead, I can do that. And then I would just do it for the second one as well. You can also type them right in here. If you click the button, it shows you what's actually on hand in a grid view. Anything that's not lot controlled, if there's more than one thing here, we can make an assumption and we can auto assign, or of course we can type in the actual quantity. So you'll notice those go to green when the quantity required is met. Over on the yields, you'll notice that I have 480. It's automatically assigned a lot number for this. That can be set up to be different things. It can be the order number by default. It can run on just a straight counter, which is what it's doing here. A bunch of different options. Let's go ahead and just tell it where I'm going to put it when it's produced. And now over on the right, I have some buttons here. one of the main ones here is I can certify after I've assigned all of the inputs. I can certify this line. It will make sure that everything that was required was actually added, and it will also look at the tolerance levels of each input to make sure that they fall within the right percentage of tolerance. So I can certify here. It'll tell me if it's good. If it's not good, it will recertify to the greatest quantity of input. So it'll tell me that I need to add additional chemical and what needs to be assigned. But this one's good. I can do partial assemblies from here. I can do full assemblies. So it's very simple to take all of this material out of inventory and put this back in. I would just tell it that I'm going to make it, and then that's done. So it's a real quick look at the order entry, the item, looking at things in production. That's it.